Hello, I am Mantastic and Fantastic, and today I'm going to be talking about the Greco-Roman 3 Pantheon series that has come out in North America / EU. So, this new Pantheon consists of 5 monsters that are starting at 6-star base rarity. However, you can almost think of them as like 10 different monsters because they have distinctly different uses and active skills between their base form and their awoken form. So, if you are fortunate enough to roll one of these 5 cards, you will have to make a careful decision as to whether or not you want to awaken them to make them use as a sub or keep them in their base forms. So this video is just going to quickly highlight and summarize basically how this Pantheon is going to function moving forward. So as I already alluded to beforehand, there are 2 distinct forms. Their base form, which is what you roll, will have a distinctly different active skill and will be mostly used as an inherit. On the flip side, their awoken form will be used primarily as a sub because they gain more awakenings and their active skill does change. So you need to make the decision where you want to actually use these cards. So the base forms of all the cards of, oh gosh, I'm not going to try and pronounce their names, but the base forms of all the cards all utilize a 4 elemental board changer that includes hard orbs. And this board changer is actually standard across both sides, and it's the secondary effect that is going to dictate whether or not the cooldown is longer or shorter, and it's the active you want to use. So 4 elemental boards have historically been weak because monocolor teams don't generate enough orbs from them to be consistent. However, in combo-based teams, 4 elemental boards are perfectly acceptable. You'll be basically guaranteeing yourself a reasonably high combo count board, but you also get to heal at the same time. And it's that healing that makes the board changer actually quite potent, because if you can heal and deal damage, that's the ideal scenario. So obviously each of their 4 elemental boards vary from card to card, but what is making them quite exceptional in their base form is the fact that they can absorb void, or they can nullify color absorb mechanics. So let's say you're playing through Arena 3 and you get to Noah Dragon. Noah Dragon will always alternate between various different colors to absorb. It will basically absorb 2 different colors every turn. So it's quite unlikely unless you're a monocolor team, you're gonna have a tough time killing them because they're gonna heal and deal damage. Like you're gonna do damage and heal them back, so on and so forth. So if you actually have one of these cards, you can pop their active skill, make the 4 elemental board, but you completely ignore that color absorb mechanic. That can give you greater consistency through, like, say, Arena 3 if you have difficulty of Noah Dragon. It can make Machine Hera fine and fast if you need to get through with a light or a dark team, because Machine Hera absorbs those, as well as like Zerogs and various spawns. Like, you get the general idea. You can utilize it to basically counteract this mechanic. It's not necessarily the most dangerous mechanic in the game because you can avoid it to a certain extent, but having it nullified at the push of a button is still very meaningful. On the flip side, their awoken forms are retaining those same 4 elemental board changer, but instead of voiding color absorbs, they are going to provide no Skyfall clause for 1 turn. So this dramatically shortens the cooldown, and actually it's shortened down to 7 turns. And 7 turns for a 4 elemental board changer with hearts is actually quite good value, because the no Skyfall part is actually considered a con. However, we can actually look on the bright side of life and view the glass as half full, because a no Skyfall clause means several different things. It means you have perfect damage control, and it also means you're not going to ever Skyfall a color that you did not spawn. So for instance, the red Greco-Roman card makes a board of red, green, yellow, and hearts. If you have, say, some dark and blue cards in your team and the boss is absorbing dark or blue, it is impossible for you to actually match dark or blue from that board, because you only can utilize the orbs that you are given. Any Skyfalls that fall down will fall down connected, but they won't actually trigger a match. So you've kind of created a pseudo anti-color absorb with the no Skyfall component, which is quite interesting because this makes the cooldown quite short. So the perfect damage control, as well as the ability to kind of negate color absorbs through you only utilizing the orbs on the board, can be very meaningful. Now, obviously, this active skill is not the selling point of the card. It is their awakening. So in their base forms, they only have 4 awakenings, which is really not enough in this day and age to be competitive options that have 9. So we are going to simply imagine that those cards are only used as inherits, and these cards can be used as inherits or subs. So Of the 5, the 2 big standout winners in these Awoken forms is Kronos and Uranus, because both these cards have 3/7 combo awakenings. So right now, 7/7 combo awakenings at the moment are restricted to Ideal and Enra, which are rare rolls from the Dragonbound machine. So with that in mind, we now can gain cards or Pantheon cards with 7/7 combo awakening, which is amazing because that is actually 8 times damage when you match 7 or more combos for that card individually, because it's 2 times, 2 times, 2 times, or 2 cubed. So that's a huge damage boost. Like, it's going to be hitting harder than any other card in your team, so this is a big deal. Now, it's not to say the other cards are not as valuable, but Kronos and Uranus are the 2 strongest because of the 7 combo awakenings. The red one of Hestia has a follow-up attack, which is obviously useful with Bind Immunity, creates Heart Orbs, but she also has 3 enhanced Heart Awakenings, which means that every time you match a Heart TPA, you're going to be receiving a very large healing boost, which can be meaningful for certain teams that don't have a recovery multiplier and you're relying on these TPA Hearts to better sustain yourself moving forward. So in conclusion, this Greco-Roman 3 Pantheon is quite new and exciting. It does add a different layer or dimension to your arsenal you can bring in your monster box. You will have the option to have color absorb void, as well as no skyfalls on a board changer. So interesting things to play around with. They have powerful awakenings, so Cronus and Uranus are going to be great subs. The others can be more situational, but the general consensus is that yes, they're a bit rare to acquire, but they're usually a little bit stronger than most other Pantheon cards as well at the same time. And because they are a Pantheon card, they should be more available than 6-star Godfest exclusives, which is at least a good point for the more budget or average player. So hopefully you all have a fantastic day. I wish you all the best of luck in your own pad adventures, and happy puzzling.